Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bregaton. Let's loot, level up, and hopefully return to this ship before we confront the governor.
Rise to
So
the
a couple
top,
pieces of equipment
or
to
get
look
left
at.
in the dust.
The mystical gate to the webway, as far as you know, the only method of entering the mysterious dimension created by long-forgotten races of old. Specifically, the Old Ones.
I always keep my options open.
So the webway is a means to traverse the warp without actually entering the warp. It is a safe path
I always have a backup
through the
plan.
Immaterium. But it gets smaller every day. Passages collapse, the warp and demons enter the webway. Orthlak Mark IV.
Is there money to be made?
It's actually an entrance to the webway that the Golden Throne sits on top of, because that was the Emperor's whole plan, was to make it so that humans could enter the webway and live there safely from the warp while they developed into a psychic race. Only 14% chance. Did we get it? We did! The giant stone hand covered in ancient runes clearly radiates with warp energy, faint but strong enough to make the skin on your face tingle.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Alright, let's level up. Alright, so our main character gets a characteristic and a talent. We'll go with Fellowship, of course, and Selfless Resilience. Allies affected by any of the Vanguard's abilities gain percent armor for 1 round, does not stack. I assume it also works with officer abilities that he uses. So every turn I can apply armor bonus to my allies. Only for a round, but still. Alright, Vyatt gets a talent and a characteristic. I'm going to grab Deadly Calculation on her. For every 10 damage dealt by an assassin's attack, that attack also deals +1 direct damage to the same target. And direct damage is damage that cannot be reduced by the target's parameters or bonuses. It's just more damage. And I guess ballistic skill here. Or agility. Do ballistic skill. Alright, Abelard gets a characteristic and a talent. Toughness. And I wanted to get counterattack stance on him. The defensive stance now has a -10 penalty to weapon skill for attacks of opportunity granted by this ability instead of -20. These attacks of opportunity deal an additional +7 damage. Now Argenta. Same thing, a talent and characteristic. I'm going to grab Always Ready. The Arch Militant begins combat with 2 stacks of versatility. And then ballistic skill. Alright, Jai gets a talent and characteristic. We got the Adjusting Frontline. If there are more enemies than allies in the frontline area, all allies in the area gain percent to parry and dodge. If there are more allies than enemies in the frontline area, all allies in the area deal percent damage. Seems like a really good buff. And then Willpower here. That's the secondary primary attribute for the officer class. And Heinrich's. Same stuff, talent and characteristic. Broad expertise. When entering combat, the Arch Militant gains weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of combat. And weapon skill. Alright, guess we're good to leave. Oh, hey, our ship's here.
Rise to the top, or get
Real
left
quick,
in
let's
the
double check
dust.
up here. Make sure there's no perception checks I missed. And back here.
Let us not dawdle.
Don't know if we'll be able to come back here. I assume not. Oh, cool. We do go straight back to the void ship. Awesome. Goodbye, trauma. Let's do some trading real quick. I guess we need to go ahead and talk to our Eldar companion, since we're here. And I don't know if I should take her out of the party or not. We dealt with her quest. Okay, so her quest is separate from what we're currently doing with World Shapers. So I'll swap back to Pascal for that. Get rid of the Xenos in my party for a little bit. Alright, I kind of want to get the Casballica mission at least to rank 1. Yeah, I have nothing for these guys. So they really want heretic trophies. Do I have any of those? Not quite. So I have rune armor and stuff that I want to look at as well. We'll get rid of that. Though not quite enough. Alright. Oh, we do have a melta gun. Where did we pick that up from? There we go, finally. So we get Mine Scrambler Grenades times 5. Anyone within the area of effect of a detonating Mine Scrambler Grenade suffers +1 stack if perplexed. On a failed willpower resistance test with a penalty, the targets also cannot attack. What does perplex do? Each stack inflicts a -10 penalty to any ballistic skill, weapon skill, intelligence, or perception tests. Okay. Alright, Bladed Boots. Whenever the wearer hits an opening with the charge, slash, or dance macabre abilities, they inflict bleeding on the target. Okay. And a telepath staff. Let's go level up our other companions while we're here. Probably willpower for her, right? And she'll also get Deadly Calculation, which we just read for Vyatt, so I'm not going to read it again. And more willpower. I'm guessing that's the best thing for her. Because all of her psychic abilities scale with willpower. And then with her, I'm split between willpower and fellowship. Probably fellowship, because officer abilities are so potent. Fellowship again, and... a hidden advantage seems useful. So all the Master Tactician's abilities work as if the Master Tactician has 6 more stacks of tactical advantage. It just makes things more efficient, or effective. Alright, Pascal. I do like point of interest. Especially for the back line and rear. Because I rarely move those anyway. So, point of interest. All combat tactics bonuses are increased by a percentage if the area was not moved for 2 rounds. Scales with intelligence and fellowship. I guess more intelligence. Fantastic. Alright, let's look at our equipment that we got. Then we need to talk to Cassia about our new companion. So the bladed boots I don't see being useful on anybody that could use it. Also, I thought the openings only applied to the assassin. But I guess warriors can also take advantage of it with charge. Yeah, don't think that's very good. Now, the rune armor, on the other hand. Did you not use Eldari equipment? Or maybe it's just the weapons. So they're both light, armor 30%. Alright, so base armor property, plus 10% dodge if the wearer is in any cover. And plus 10% dodge if the wearer's willpower is more than 50. So she doesn't actually gain any advantage on that. And the ranger armor is better for her since she's usually behind cover with a perfect spot. I might just do the shuriken catapult on her as well. I think she needs a melee weapon. Oh, sorry, we got a new staff as well. Oh yeah, the divination. You can use this instead. You lose lightning arc. I don't think I'm going to swap it out because lightning arc is fantastic. She gets consign. The next hit against the target will be an automatic critical hit. That's pretty solid. The wearer of the staff gains a consign ability. This ability is also available in its heroic act and desperate measures versions. The wearer's divination psychic powers have a 50% chance not to increase veil degradation. I tried to say increase, but I saw veil. I tried to do like the ale increase. Man, the bonuses from this are better. Plus 15 willpower, plus 10 perception versus the just the plus 5 willpower. So just for that alone, I think I'll swap to this. We can still use like psychic scream and stuff. We also have the Staff of Mind Sight. So just a damaging ability or one that gives a guaranteed crit. Oh, Consign also costs 0 AP. I'm gonna go with the guaranteed crit then. So I saw this piercing splinter cannon as well. Can she use that? Okay. Well, real quick, let's go talk to Cassia about Irliet, and then we'll speak to Irliet herself.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations. Reading Xenos' colors has always been a grueling challenge for me. The boundless palette of colors Irliet emanates is too painful to look at. Her hues are bright, blinding, unnatural, and very, very dangerous, Lord Captain. I would never entrust my safety to a being that screams so loudly and clearly of its alienness to human perception. I regret that I failed to see Irliet's designs through the prism of my own powers, Lord Captain. But now, I think I'm beginning to understand the Xenos' intentions a little better. Their lies, their fear, their fury. Now Irliet's colors are woven together in my eyes into a single, garish tapestry of alien emotions. And though its shining makes my eyes bleed, I see the way Irliet dissolves into the whiteness of grief every time she speaks of home. And the way crimson flashes electrify the air every time her betrayal is mentioned. I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
So something to note, sentient creatures, well, I guess all living creatures, have a presence in the warp, usually described as some version of light. And how bright you appear in the warp is based on your psychic presence. So humans appear, fairly brightly, because all humans have a psychic potential. Though, of course, psykers would appear a little bit more brightly. The Eldar are like mini suns in the warp. Which is also why they have to protect themselves from Slaanesh, because if they didn't, she would find them and consume their souls. What are we doing here, Elentok? We've strayed from our path. It's time to head back to Yanis. Okay, so she's in a hurry. I think I'm going to bring her along, because her quest is tied to this world. Back to Governor Vyatt's estate. So we'll keep Pascal benched for now. I could send Argenta back. She aligns so well with my character and the role that I'm playing. Her and Heinrich's both. Greetings, Lord Captain.
I always keep my options open.
Atilius Quint. Okay, more people to talk to this time around. The astute man wearing a cloak of the Adeptus Administratum is reviewing information on a data slate, while his quietly wearing mechanical arms fill a long scroll with writing. Upon noticing you, the man stretches his thin lips into a smile and deferentially bows. The light in his eyes of the servo skull hovering over his right shoulder gently pulsate. Your Lordship, what an honor it is to address you in person. Allow me to introduce myself. Atilius Quint, Prefectus of the Officio Agricultae. I'll preserve the record of our conversation forever. I uncovered the servant who betrayed the governor. Here's the place where you'll find his body. The Secretary's eyes light with wicked fire. What wonderful news! We'll conduct the identification without delay, and punitive measures will be taken against the criminal's close associates. We will instill those weak minds with the due terror of the governor's power warrants. Sorry, I think I said of the. Terror of the governor's power warrants. What a sage decision, Shireen. Let the rebels' innocent children and relatives rot in the rack as a lesson to all heretics. I swear to the Exalted One, your name will be fondly remembered on Yanis. What record of our conversation? Your Lordship, I painstakingly record every conversation with high-ranking personages, and afterward I will fill out all 7 accompanying forms personally. Atilius rolls up his completed scroll in a practiced gesture, stows it away, and pulls out a new one. Your words and judgments are in good hands. Atilius' mechanical fingers fly over the scroll as he fills in another line. And of course, what great fortune it is to see, for the very first time in all my years of service, an emissary of the Navis Nobilite here on Yanis. I humbly welcome the esteemed... A laudable foresight. I thank you. Moments such as the appearance of a rogue trader must be preserved for posterity. What do you think of Estenza Vyatt? Oh, I must confess, the news of her arrest has shaken me to my core. May I speak openly? I admit that I haven't got a bad word to say about Governor Vyatt, and I hope that when you praise her efforts, your anger will change to mercy. The Governor is a superb leader. She possesses an excellent grasp of all matters and never uses an incorrect form for a given situation. I do not pry into her personal affairs, but if I may speak plainly, a lady who fills out paperwork with such finesse cannot be a bad person, in my view. What do you have to say about the Governor's helper, Vyatt? Atilius looks askance at Vyatt and offers a strange smile. A highly exceptional individual. After today's regretful event, I'm beginning to hold her talents in particular esteem. Verily, even mutants who have seen the light of the God Emperor can faithfully serve his flock. Moreover, Vyatt's particular abilities could be an interesting subject of study for the Magos biologists. That elongated head shape, those eyes. Judging by the skull that was given to me to send onto Footfall, such developmental anomalies on Yanis are not a quirk of nature, but some kind of inheritable trait. Vyatt freezes completely, turning into a living statue. What did you say? Oh, madam, have my words upset you? I'm certain your kinsman would be delighted to learn that people wish to make pretty presse-papier out of his remains. And besides, I could be wrong about the nature of his origins. What skull are you talking about? A most remarkable item, I must say. A true anomaly. One moment. After rummaging in a nearby container, Atilius draws out a parcel, which he immediately unwraps. Here it is. I believe the finished piece was intended to be given as a gift to the Governor, but under the current circumstances, I doubt I'll be able to send it to Footfall anytime soon. Vyatt stares at the skull in silence. You can see her jaw working under her delicate skin. After a few seconds, she bluntly turns away. Yeah, I would argue that it is barbaric, even in my character's eyes. You don't want to collect Xeno's artifacts, if you're being dogmatic. To smash the skull. Repulsive barbarism. Ah, my deepest apologies, your lordship. I did not mean to offend you. Atilius bows low, trembling from head to toe. Vyatt grits her teeth and burns you with a look of utter disdain. What are your duties here? By the grace of the God Emperor, I oversee the administrative apparatus on the planet and serve as a secretary. I'm also responsible for the logistics related to supplying the planets of the Von Valancius dynasty and the timely payment of tithes to the Imperium's official collectors. Speaking of the Von Valancius dynasty, when were the last shipments sent? Oh, your lordship, our supply shipments are all in order. All foodstuffs and other items are ready for export and are simply awaiting the arrival of the transport ships. However, given the current circumstances on the planet, Yanis cannot provide even one tranche more than what is already prepared. I am certain the situation will be rectified in the near future. When did the collector ships last come to Yanis? Oh, your lordship. I must confess that as yet I have not had the pleasure of filling out a sacred tithe protocol form, as the last Imperial ships to come here did so under my predecessor. Come to think of it, that would have been several decades ago. I do hope the logisticians responsible for such an unforgivable oversight lose their heads over this. But that's enough. As you wish, your lordship. Tell me about Yanis. What is happening on the planet? Alas, your lordship, rebellions have caused us too many problems in recent times. The rebels are interfering with established processes, interrupting supplies, sabotaging the serfs' work. A few nobles have even been killed, and worst of all, some of the victims occupied important administrative posts. Until their replacements pass their checks, complete all their induction forms, and go through the official appointment procedure, important paperwork is going unsigned. It's a bureaucratic catastrophe. The absence of a required signature is, of course, the most horrifying thing about this situation. Indeed it is. Financial reports, logistics directives, waybills for food shipments. Without the signature of the most respected and now deceased head of House Zakaris, shipments and settlements in Aegis 24 have been stopped. The heirs are still dealing with the transfer of holdings, and incoming reports tell us that a quarter of the workings in the affected settlements have already died of starvation, while most of those remaining have left the perimeter and have not yet returned to their designated places. If things continue in this vein, I dare not even imagine what it could lead to. There are worlds that are ravaged by war for generations. Generations, your lordship. Like that deranged planet by the nameless star, so close to our own peaceful system. The inhabitants there supposedly live under the patronage of rogue trader Winterscale. I shudder to think what he has created there. I want to know details. Where have the rebels struck, and how? Of course, of course. I'd be delighted to furnish you with all the information I have. In the last few months, 15 organized attacks and 7 terrorist attacks have been perpetrated. Irrigation equipment has been sabotaged in agrarian sectors 3 to 5, transport routes 27, 413, and also... I suppose this will not tell you much. Please. With a fussy gesture, he presses several buttons on his data slate screen, and a 3-dimensional map with coordinates of the attacks appear on your cogitator. The data is superbly collated, and the map clearly displays the actions of the rebels. At first glance, there seems to be no logic to their campaign, but after analyzing the data and the features of the terrain, you notice a clear system indicating a geographical pattern to their attacks. Who is directing the rebels? Does anyone know? The rebels are well armed and well trained. What's more, the governor's advisors are inclined to think that the instigators of the rebellions are very familiar with the planet's terrain and climate. My ordinates are going through registration records day and night, looking for individuals who have completed military training. We have so far been unable to identify the scoundrel. What are you doing to combat the rebels? Our security services are tracking those who support the rebels, and our regular wardens are wiping out these saboteurs without the slightest mercy, but they keep on appearing. My scribes have been run off their feet, keeping records of all the public hearings and executions, but I'm confident that the governor will find a solution soon. That's enough for now. Of course, your lordship. What do you know about the attack on the estate? A disgraceful incident. Simply disgraceful. I cannot believe these scoundrels would dare to come so close, and to drag the nobility into this as well. If they penetrated the estate, that means they had help from some worthless servant or other. Security is currently questioning the survivors, but the culprit has not been found. Yet. Atilius Quint smiles unpleasantly. I must take my leave. I look forward to meeting you again, your lordship. Atilius Quint offers a friendly smile and a bow. Your lordship, speaking with you is always an honor. Yeah. Alright. So I think he was here before. I just happened to walk past him. Luckily, I didn't miss the opportunity. Or unluckily, depending on how you view that conversation.
Is there money to be made?
I think beyond that, we have spoken to everybody, right? This guy's highlighted.
Keep your wits about you.
Oh, the tech priest is gone.
Always keep your eye on the prize. Let us not dawdle. Rise to the top or get left in the dust. Is there money to be made?
Alright, I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll enter the mansion and I guess confront the governor about her Slanesh worship. Willing or otherwise. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.